Hello. This is Antya from Byte Shuffle. Thank you for always watching our videos. As I mentioned in the previous pile breakdown video, I'll be playing Doomsday for a while starting from this video. This time, I've put together an overview of how to approach the RUG Delver matchup when playing Doomsday, including gameplay strategies and sideboard considerations. Here is the deck list we will be using this time. I'm using a list based on Etsawa build. Since he came all the way from Germany to the Eternal Party 2024 Tokyo venue, I had the chance to learn a lot from him. I originally started playing ANT with his list, so I took inspiration from his build as a sign of respect. I'll keep this hand since I can go all in on turn 1. I'm going all in. From here, I'm increasing the mana needed for the combo. Now that I have more mana, I'll scout ahead. I took out Force of Will. Since my opponent is playing Delver, I'm keeping a close eye on Wasteland, Daze, and Force of Will. The biggest risk is them using draw spells on their turn to find counters or Wasteland. I have one land in hand, so I can survive up to 2 Wasteland hits. I'll build my pile so that I win as long as my opponent's top deck isn't Wasteland. If they draw Wasteland, I'll pass the turn and go off on the next turn. To play around Daze and Force of Will, I built my pile with Cyclers as the main openers. I built my pile in the order of Thassa's Oracle Cavern of Souls, Edge of Autumn, Street Wraith. I don't have enough pile openers, so I'll pass the turn. I'll name Merfolk and win with Thassa's Oracle. Before sideboarding, I'd like to review the list we used. First, the conclusion. I will explain it step by step. Here's the sideboarding I actually used during the game. The only difference is the Daze slots. Since my opponent's deck pressures my life total quickly, Street Wraith becomes a weaker option. Therefore, I believe this example would be the better choice. I'll proceed with the discussion based on this sideboarding plan. First, let's analyze the opponent's strategy. They deploy cheap creatures like Delver of Secrets and Dragon's Rage Channeler on the board, and use burn spells like Lightning Bolt to pressure my life total. Now that we've analyzed the opponent's game plan, let's discuss the differences between ANT and Doomsday. Let's start with ANT. ANT is a deck that uses Dark Ritual, Cabal Ritual, and Lion's Eye Diamond in a similar way. The most important thing to keep in mind in the Delver matchup after sideboarding is expanding mana with basic lands to make the opponent's Daze ineffective as a pseudo-Force of Will. Next, let's talk about Doomsday. The opponent applies fast pressure on my life total. Like ANT, this deck uses similar mana acceleration for the combo, but since the combo itself requires life as a resource, ANT aims to win by leveraging its life total to the very limit. Doomsday, on the other hand, plays with the mindset of executing the combo before the opponent can establish a clock. Once I identify my opponent as Delver, it seems better to go all in early, even if it means taking some risks, as it improves the win rate. That was a long introduction, but let's get back to the main topic. These are the key cards in RUG Delver that impact the Doomsday matchup. First, there are various counterspells like Force of Will, Daze, Force of Negation, and Consign to Memory. Against these, we have Defense Grid and I'll bring in Duress as well. Since there would be too much disruption, I'll take out Force of Will instead. Next, let's talk about Red Elemental Blast. Personal Tutor becomes a target for Red Elemental Blast, and even if it resolves, it still reduces my hand size. In this matchup, it's a low impact card, so I'll cut some copies. Next, Street Wraith and Night's Whisper become weaker options since the opponent aggressively pressures my life total. Therefore, I'll either reduce the number of copies or cut them entirely. Next, let's talk about surgical extraction. I'll use Brainstorm to play around it. I've explained the specific method in my pile breakdown video, so feel free to check it out. A key characteristic of Doomsday is that, aside from its own life loss, there are very few cards that are truly devastating against it. Next, Counterbalance and Null Rod can sometimes be ignored depending on my hand and board state. So unless they are outright game-ending, I think it's fine to ignore them. Lastly, regarding the additional island. Personally, I think it's necessary, but I haven't decided what to cut for it yet. I'll continue testing, and once I have a clearer idea, I'll explain it in a future update. This hand is short on disruption, but if I can find some with a draw spell, it should be playable, so I'll keep. I'll use a draw spell to find disruption. I'll stack the pile as Thassa's Oracle Duress Lotus Petal, then draw. My opponent has 3 cards left in hand. I expect something like Force of Will and Daze. I'm going all in. From here, I'll generate more mana for the combo. Now that I have more mana, I'll scout ahead. I took out Lightning Bolt. Since I have an island in play, I'll build my pile assuming only counterspells as disruption. Since Lightning Bolt is likely trimmed post-sideboard, I won't play around it this time and will aim for a fast win. To play around Daze and Force of Will, I built my pile with Cyclers as the main openers. I built my pile in the order of Thassa's Oracle Cavern of Souls, Edge of Autumn, Street Wraith. I don't have enough pile openers, so I'll pass the turn. The Surveil effect sends it to the graveyard. My opponent shuffled off Ponder. In response to my land being targeted by Wasteland, I'll activate Edge of Autumn by sacrificing it. I'll name Merfolk and win with Thassa's Oracle. Lastly, I have an announcement. I'm posting the concepts behind the images used in my videos, as well as small flavor-inspired stories, in the YouTube community section. Additionally, I'm selling merch for the channel through the link in the description. If you're interested, be sure to check it out. Thank you for watching up to this point. I apologize for the many play mistakes. I hope to improve at MTG together with everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel and giving it a thumbs up. See you next time. This is Antya.